This video is sponsored by Squarespace, a bit like the ultimate kitchen. Squarespace has all the ingredients you need to whip up your brand and grow your business online. Websites, online stores, marketing tools, analytics, more on this later. So this was me as a student, nights out in Paris, drinking and socializing until the early hours. And on the way home, after all that, there's only really one thing that's gonna hit the spot. Kebab. Man, that is substantial. In the common Western sense, a kebab is a big fat sandwich packed to the brim with grilled meats, tomatoes or onions or salad, French fries, and topped with loads of sauce. This sandwich exists for a reason. We are hungry, we have been partying late, we are cold, we want something fatty, salty, greasy, reassuring, comforting, something cheap and something available, because this is the only food that you can get after midnight. In Paris, there are kebab houses everywhere. You can see this huge tower of meat goodness slowly spinning and being licked by the flame. The smell is permeating through the whole street. Everybody's in line to get their hands on this holy grail, the kebab. Well, I'm sorry to bust it out, but I can't do this anymore. I can't eat this anymore. I know I used to, but I can't do this to my body anymore. It's over. So in broad daylight, a kebab is telling a whole different story. Fries are limp, flaccid, and they are undercooked. The sauce is setting. The meat, nobody knows where the meat comes from. My stomach is saying yes, but now my mind is screaming no. Don't do this, Alex. Don't do this to your body. I guess even beyond quality, there is something that bothers me even deeper, even further, and that is authenticity. There is just no way that these kebab places here in Paris serve authentic kebab. How am I even supposed to know what an authentic kebab is when there is steak kebab, chicken curry kebab, cheese kebab, cordon bleu kebab, taco kebab, American cheeseburger kebab?
Shrimp soup, shrimp stew, shrimp salad.
No, if I really want to know what real kebab is, I need to do some research. Kebabs are Turk, but I've been calling them Greek. What is shawarma then? And what about Berliner kebab? What about the tacos al pastor from Mexico? When everything is kebab, nothing is kebab.
I've been coming up hot for a minute.
I'm basically lost, okay? I don't know what kebab truly is. My immediate instinct would be to seek guidance, and my always go-to when I need that is YouTube. And that is where I found this guy, Pierre Raffard. Believe it or not, this guy has a PhD on food globalization and its geopolitical impact, and he's been working 10 years on kebabs. And luckily for me, he lives right here in Paris. Guys, a quick heads up before we wrap up. You remember the saucepan, the copper and silver saucepan that we launched about a year ago? The launch was amazing, except one thing. We didn't make enough saucepans, so loads of you guys were frustrated not to get your hands on one. Good news, we made a new batch. I've got a few prototypes over here, ready. And this new batch is going to be available very soon on this channel. So stay tuned. If you really want to make sure that you don't miss the next batch, you can subscribe to a mailing list in the description below. Now, the kebab guy.
Bonjour Alex.
Ça va?
Ça va et toi?
Super, merci.
Okay, let's talk about today's sponsor, Squarespace. With Squarespace, you can showcase your recipes, share your videos, and even sell your favorite kitchen gadgets, all in one beautifully designed space. Plus, Squarespace has this incredible new feature called Design Intelligence. It's like having a world-class pastry chef decorating your website cake. It combines Squarespace design expertise with AI to create a website that is very much you. And for all of you culinary entrepreneurs out there, Squarespace payment is a game changer. It is faster than a blender at high speed. You can start accepting payment in just a few clicks. So go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to serve up your website to the world, go to squarespace.com/FrenchGuy to get 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Trust me, this is a recipe for success. Thank you Squarespace for sponsoring this video.
So basically, my name is Pierre Raffard. As you can hear from my awful Parisian accent, I'm French. So I'm a geographer, but I don't know anything about the mountains, about the rivers, these kind of boring things. It is more about the geography of food and cuisine in France, but also in Turkey. This relation between food and Turkey and geography is one of the reasons why I started to study the case of kebab, döner or shawarma or gyros.
Can you help me understand the scope of terms?
All these terms mean exactly the same thing. Cooking something thanks to a rotating movement.
Okay.
So gyros, that's the Greek name. Döner comes from the Turkish verb dönmek, which means rotate or turn.
Cool.
Shawarma, the Arabic word shawarma, comes from the Turkish word çevirme, which means rotating.
What does kebab mean?
In Turkish, you will pronounce kebab with a
Kebab.
P. But in Turkey, kebab, it's a kind of general term to designate and to talk about all type of grilled thing. It can be meat, it can be cheese, it can be whatever you want. If you want to talk about what we know as kebab, you will talk about döner kebab.
I mean, in general, it's the same meat?
Again, that can be very different according to where you are. For example, if you're in Turkey or in France, there will be more döner made from lamb, but if you are in Greece, you will be able to find pork meat.
Ouais.
If you are in Turkey, you can also find some chicken kebab. It's more what I call a culinary concept than a precise meal or a precise recipe.
So I have heard many different stories about where the kebab comes from.
The origins can be traced in the Ottoman Empire, especially in Constantinople. The first photographs we have taken by a British photographer, something like 1854.
1854. And where was it taken?
It was taken in Constantinople.
So modern Istanbul.
Modern Istanbul.
Istanbul was Constantinople, now it's Istanbul, not Constantinople.
But then if you consider it to be the literature or the historical sources, you can find some proofs in the 14th century, the 15th century of meals which looked like the nowadays kebab. In the eastern region of Turkey, one of the culinary specialties is called the ja kebab. It's a kind of döner, but cooked on a horizontal spit. But the question is, why we have these two versions of something which is very close?
Yes.
Maybe you went or you will go to Istanbul, you will see that the shape of the streets,
Very dense.
it's very dense.
Very dense.
So being able to cook vertically is a very good...
to maximize the real estate.
Yes. Then there are other ideas. When you cook vertically the meat, the fat will
Drizzle down.
And then the meat can have a kind of second cooking thanks to the fat.
Okay.
So there are both culinary explanation, but also very geographical, local scale explanations.
Earlier on, I bought myself a kebab in Paris. Big sandwich full of grilled meat that was filled up with French fries and topped with sauce on it. This sandwich, where does it come from?
Congratulations, Alex, because you ate a 100% French kebab.
French kebab.
French kebab.
It's a French kebab.
A huge amount of meat. Also using sauce in your kebab.
Yes.
I mean, for us French people,
it makes sense.
It makes sense because we love sauce recipes, etc. But if you go to Germany, completely different. If you go to, I don't know, Spain, that will be different. And if you go to Turkey, for sure you won't be able to find any sauce in your kebab. I mean, when a meal spread from one place to the other, it's impossible for it to be exactly the same, to be a kind of copy-paste.
Since the kebab is so big, but also very inexpensive, does it has anything to do with like social classes?
When the kebab settled in France, from the early 30s, thanks to the Greek migrants, the meal and the sandwich was considered both as an ethnic meal, but also as a worker meal. Foreign workers needed calories.
Makes sense.
They tried to feed their stomachs, but they also tried to feed their souls.
Yeah, it makes sense because it's just like a reminder of where they come from. Thank you so much for all this.
You're welcome, and if you have other questions about Turkish food, I'm your guy.
Alright, so that was great and I learned so much from Pierre Rafa, but now I need to experience the real thing. No, I don't mean any of these Parisian versions of kebab, but the real thing, from the source.
Istanbul.
I need someone to show me around the best spots in the world, and I think I might just know the guy. Hey Emir, what's up? It's Alex. So my close friend Emir, who produces some of the world's finest copperware, also happens to be a Turkish food expert. Fortunately, he lives in the birthplace of Döner Kebab. So the next stop is Istanbul.